Hi, I'm Josh. I'm a volunteer for NacoaUK and I'm also the child of an alcoholic. And so the topic that I'm going to talk about today is if he loved me, he'd stop. So it's a difficult one and there's quite a lot I want to try and cram in, so forgive me if I'm talking quite fast. So I'll start at the beginning. Look, I was 8 years old when my dad died as a direct result of alcoholism, and my mum told me that my dad was an alcoholic. He loved me very, very much, but he just couldn't stop drinking. And I believed that in the way that I believed if I ate enough carrots I'd be able to see in the dark and vegetables would make me big and strong. What I'm saying is I believed what my mum told me, and so that was the opinion I had. As I started to grow up, sort of 12, 13 and into my teenage years, I started to form my own opinions on life. I started to see the life through my own eyes, and I learned about love and I learned about things, and it became more and more difficult to just accept that someone could love me very much but not stop drinking. I couldn't bring the two together and marry them up, although I never really argued against it. It was something that it was incomprehensible to believe anything else. So I convinced myself that alcoholism was an illness and that he loved me very much and that drink just got a hold of him. But I remember when I was 14 years old and I was talking with a friend's mum, and I said alcoholism is just like cancer, it's a disease and they can both kill you. She got very, very angry with me, and she said, for a start, cancer isn't self-inflicted like alcoholism, and that once cancer gets a hold of you, it can eat away at you and kill you and you just can't stop it. Whereas alcoholism, there is the solution of just not drinking. And I found it very, very difficult to argue against that, to argue against both of them points really. And so it was, I took on board what she said and I took it away with me, and the argument I put to bed in my mind, I just had to blindly believe that alcoholism was an illness, because we all come from our own experiences, and so I had no experience of alcohol necessarily controlling my life directly, but what I did have is experience for how much I loved my mum, for example. And in my mind, I had started drinking at 14, 15, toying with drink on the weekends maybe, and I thought in my mind, well, if it was between my mum or drink at that point in time, then I'd absolutely stop drinking with ease. So it kind of didn't make sense to me. When I was 18 and my first child was born, I remember holding my daughter in my arms and just thinking she was the most beautiful thing in the world, and that I was just going to be the best dad that I could possibly be to her. And the truth is, for a while I couldn't pull it off. Drink started to get a grip of me. Drink, by the way, was the solution to everything for me. It worked when nothing else did. I knew my mind was a dark place, and I did go to the doctors. I saw counsellors, psychiatrists, and nothing really worked like drink did. And I remember looking at my children and thinking, I know I love them so much, and if I could just get that good drunk again, then we would be able to enjoy this. My children would enjoy me and I would enjoy them. And my drinking just progressed, really, is all I can say about it. And it got worse for me, and it started causing a lot of problems in my life. But denial is a very, very strong thing, and denial was so deep rooted. It was actually delusion, and it wasn't a case of knowing I had a problem and trying to pretend I didn't. The denial was so strong, I just didn't know that there was a problem there. All I knew is that I hated being sober and something was missing in my life and I could not cope, and that drink worked. And so when I had the same sentence said to me, if you got 4 lovely children, if you loved them enough, you'd stop. I found it very, very hard to argue against it again. Even though I was experiencing what I was experiencing, my head was just a complete muddle, and I didn't understand. Fortunately for me, around 4 years ago, my life kind of changed, but it's been a long process to get to where I am. I do believe that alcoholism came closest to killing me when I was 9 months without a drink in my body. I believe that, and this is just my own experience and my own beliefs, but I don't believe that people are alcoholic because they drink a lot. I believe they drink a lot because they're alcoholic. And I believe that this whole thing is a sobriety problem. And so, like I say, I was very, very fortunate in that my life has turned around, and perhaps that's because I've been able to catch it when I was only 24 years old. Maybe there's a whole bunch of other things in it. But what I do know today is that loving my family plays absolutely no part really in, certainly not in the illness when it's active, and I don't really see how it plays too much of a part in my recovery initially. You know, most illnesses out there that kill people, they eat away at people, they ravage their body, and we can see them on the outside physically worsen and eventually die. I absolutely believe today that alcoholism eats away at people's minds. It eats away at your perception of life. It eats away at your peace of mind. It eats away at your heart and your soul, and it comes out as alcoholism. And I think people find it very, very difficult when there's an internal condition like that to believe that it's an illness. But like I say, what I do know now from my own experience is that I don't believe that love plays a part in it. In a way, I'm kind of very, very fortunate that I had my own struggles with alcohol, because my experience has now taught me just exactly what my dad must have been going through, and that it wasn't a case of he didn't love me enough or anything like that. It was a case that this illness slowly took over him, and he was unable to beat it. It's one of them things when people lose a battle against any of the sort of mainstream illnesses, then it's a heroic battle that they lost. My dad's battle was an embarrassing battle that he didn't win, and there's a lot of shame and stuff around that, and you know, for me, that doesn't need to be the case today. I think we're progressing. People are starting to learn a lot more about the mind. You only got to look at how far depression's come along now, and I think people will start to realise with alcoholism as well. But yeah, so I suppose to conclude with the title of If He Loved Me, He'd Stop. I don't think alcoholism has anything to do with love. I don't think it has anything to do with any of that. I think it's an illness that we probably still don't understand a great deal of. And my experience has shown me that the actual not being able to stop drinking once I've started seems like I was born with that bit, but the bit that we can really, really tackle is the reason why I kept going back to it. You know, the most crazy thing I've ever done in my life was pick up a drink, and I'd done that sober. So we need to look at the reasons why that kept happening and how the delusion gets so embedded in people. And I believe that we can tackle that by talking, and perhaps make some sort of changes in the way that people perceive this stuff. So yeah, I hope that's kind of made sense. I'm going to upload this video. I never plan too much what I'm going to say, so it'll go on there. And you know, if I have said anything that you know you feel like you want to question or anything like that, then feel free to just comment on this stuff. And obviously, the website and everything else will be underneath. So yeah, great stuff.